Dr. Adam Smith from Ultimate Bariatrics. I've been doing bariatric surgery here in Fort Worth since 2001. And while we like to think that surgery is always perfect and everyone has perfect outcomes every time, we go back to remembering when you started thinking about having surgery that surgery is just a tool. It's how we use that tool that affects how our outcome is going to be. So over the last couple decades, we not infrequently will run into patients who are struggling. It may not be year 1, it may not be year 2, it may be year 5, 7, year 10, but sometimes that tool loses some of its effectiveness. And the answer isn't to give up. The answer isn't always another surgery. The answer is, let's find out what your tool is, let's find out if your tool is working, and what can we do to teach you to use your tool appropriately again. If you're having any kind of problems whatsoever, it's very important whether you come in to see us, which would be our preference, or your original surgeon. It's important for you not just to accept that you are where you are. There are always options available for you so you can improve on how you're doing for your health, your weight, and your overall lifestyle. So I found this myself as I was seeing patients in the office day in and day out, month in and month out. I would occasionally see a patient who had not achieved the weight loss that they desired in the beginning, or what is more common, I would see people who had achieved that success and had really lost all the weight that they tried to lose, but over the course of time, life happened. It is not uncommon for me to hear a story. It usually involves surgery of another kind, or maybe a job change, maybe a life change, perhaps, unfortunately, a death in the family. Something happens in someone's life where all of a sudden they're not able to continue to focus on themselves, that they're having to focus on others. And when they are so intent on focusing on others, sometimes they start slipping away from using their tool properly. I find myself in the same boat. I had my lap band in 2002. I lost 100 pounds. I was exceptionally proud of everything I had done. I became very physically active. I rode a bike, I water skied, I wakeboarded, I did everything I wanted to do. But life happens. Things happen in your life that can affect your outcome. And while day in and day out, I was counseling my patients on how to use their tool, what to do right, how to avoid pitfalls, I myself found that I had gained over 30 pounds back over the last 7 years. It didn't happen on purpose. I didn't set out to gain the weight back. I still felt like I had it down pat. There was nothing wrong with my lap band. It was still there. It was still properly positioned and properly adjusted. What happened was how I was using my tool. So I tried everything that I tried on my patients, and sometimes I achieved short-term success and sometimes I didn't. But what I have continued to preach to my patients, I finally started talking to myself. And about a month ago, I got fed up. I looked at some pictures that were recent and compared them to pictures from 7 years ago, and I said, this is it, this is gonna stop. It all stops here, and I went back to basics, just like I tell my patients to. I'm going back to basics. I'm gonna look at my tool. I'm gonna make sure my tool is working. I'm going to get a jump start to get back in the right direction and get rid of those insidious little habits that have crept into my life. So how hypocritical of me to tell my patients what to do if I wasn't willing to do it myself. We looked into pharmaceuticals, which are great. I looked at briefly and promptly discarded other surgical options. I looked at the traditional beginner program. I've tried a couple other fasting type weight loss programs. While they worked on a short-term basis, they were very difficult to do, they were very hard to do, and they only achieved short-term results. So what I was looking for was a significant long-term program that would help me get back on track, use my tool, get the weight back off, and try to set a good example for my patients. Before I was willing to subject my patients to a new program yet again, I decided at this time it was time for me to put my money where my mouth was. I've spent a lot of time researching, and I think we have a reasonable program that if you're a band patient, a sleeve patient, a bypass patient, whatever surgical tool you have chosen to use, I think that we have a program that we can custom tailor to you to get you back on track, to make your tool work for you to start losing weight again, and something that a human being can actually do. And here it is.